Shoot, I was hoping it would have went right through there and wrapped around. But no, you had to turn straight up the damn hill.
Ride on, Jewel. Let your spirit be free. With the wind at your back and the whole
I
world
told you I knew where I was.
Jewel. Let your heart be your guide. In the depths of the thunder, it's your rant and your ride.
So what am I doing out here? Yeah, I'm not going into El Dorado Canyon, but as you know, on my loop ride out of El Dorado Canyon, I missed 2 turns on that loop ride that would have brought me back down here to the beginning of El Dorado Canyon. So what I'm doing is kind of starting on this side, and I'm just gonna go look and see how bad the road is that I was supposed to come down on. There were 2 turns that I missed that would have come over here. One would have dropped into El Dorado Canyon near the beginning of it, a little bit ways in, and the other one would have come out right over here by this hill next to the D mountain. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I don't have much time. It is 3 o'clock, and you know it starts getting really dark between 4:30 and 5, and by 5:30 it's a darka. Now I probably have a better headlight on this bicycle than I do on my gas. The gas headlight definitely has to be upgraded and replaced. It's not like I'm gonna be riding the gas in the dark very often, because the gas is not a traveler, right? I've only got a 2-gallon tank. Even if I put a 3-gallon tank on it, I wouldn't be going that far. You know, a 3-gallon tank might get me to Hawthorne. You know, I have to see. I considered it, but it was pretty much, I decided with the gas that besides putting some accessories on it, some Farkle, that I would probably leave it pretty much stock. Wouldn't play with it too much. Just ride it the way it is. But we'll have to see. It is fun to ride. It's a toy, you know, for a straight single track guy, it's a weapon, but I don't do a lot of single track, so for me it's a play toy. So it's a toy, man. So anyway, up here we'll be going right, and you know, it could be too steep and I won't go that far because it goes up through those mountains in front of us, and you can see they're well, they're not mountains, but they're pretty good hills, so it could just be too steep, you know, for me to deal with today. I put on some boots, which are my most comfortable boots I probably ever had, but they're worn out. They got ruined on the heavy construction job I did because, you know, you got them in mud and stuff, and the mud just eats them alive. But I kept them you know, they're enough protection for my foot out here riding the bicycle, but they're pretty torn up. And they're Keens. You know, they used to be made in Oregon, and these were made in Oregon, and then I ordered some other ones, some new ones that were made in wherever, Indonesia or China, and they don't fit. And I even ordered another pair, hoping to get a pair made in Oregon. Nope, they weren't made in Oregon. They don't fit. So I got 2 new pairs that don't fit. Which just reminded me I should start selling some of that stuff so I can buy something else. But even though I can't go really far on the e-bikes, you know, I have as much fun on these e-bikes as I do the motorcycles. I never thought I would say that. You know, they both give you good exercise. But the fact that, you know, if something happens out here on this, I could walk home and push the bike home. You know, you can't push the motorcycle home. That's not gonna happen. Well, see, it doesn't matter how much you look on Google Earth, right? Nothing ever looks like what you see on Google Earth, and then when you come out here. I don't think I take that, and that's rough as heck, and I think I took that up and then took that road over there before. And I think that lower part of the hills over there is kind of where I go up and through. Like I said, we're probably going to be heading back home at about 4:15, no matter where we are, so we can get home. There we go again. Another spammer. Hello. Okay, well, like I said, I don't know how far up this I'm gonna go, because I see it turns right there, but it's still going uphill. Hey man, this doesn't look anything like it did on Google Earth. What the heck? All right, let's see what happens here. Whoa. Well, I did that a lot better than I thought it was gonna go. Lots better. Okay. Then after you do a lot of this, you find out, oh, I think I gotta pee. You know, you go up those steep hills and that's when the battery goes up. Use a lot of amps and the battery starts dropping fast. Ah, there's that road. Now this road, I can see it right there, goes along this mountain, but you can see, maybe you can, if I quit shaking. There's one that just goes straight up the hillside. I think that's the one I was talking about. You can see it just jets straight up, but it's pretty steep. Oh, and there's the other one. That's steep also. Yeah, this one that goes up to the top and then goes around, and that one. And they're both steep. I was hoping this one was going to be a gradual climb. Well, this is what I was supposed to come down, right? So if I would have made the right turns when I made them, this would have been the road I would have come down into Dayton. Yeah, see that one's, oh, here's where it starts. But that darn thing is all rocks. I mean, it's solid rocks. And it's steep the whole way up. So at some point, I'm sure I'd be walking. This one probably isn't going to be much better because it goes straight up. So my loop ride out of El Dorado probably is going to be a no-go. Don't look too promising. Unless I go into Brunswick over to Carson. Oh, my light's on again, of course. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, look at this. Look at this stuff. That's like El Dorado Canyon, Jack. That's like El Dorado Canyon, Jack. Maybe worse, because it's going to keep going uphill. That is something else. Oh, come on, Jupe, you can do it. You gotta get the pedal stroke going. Jeez. Biggest thing is keeping the front end straight, keeping the front end down. Come on. Come on, Juby. Holy crap. I shouldn't have stopped, but crud, dude. My loop ride. What the heck, bro? Should have stayed to the outside. I would have been out of the rocks a little bit. I don't know if I can get going again. Dang it. Shoot. This is gnarly. Fun, but gnarly. I don't know. Let's see if we can get some momentum, Jack. Come on, keep their front end down. Get some weight over that front wheel. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I might have done it. I might have done it. Whoa. Holy smokes. Maybe I did it. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. If I'm close to the top. This is gonna get steep again. Come on, dude. Yep. Holy shit. Sorry, holy crud. Yeah. So I might have to walk this. Somebody came up here. I don't know if it's UTVs. Yeah, I might have to walk this for sure. That might be the top though. Crap. Yeah. Shoot, I was hoping it would have went right through there and wrapped around. But no, you had to turn straight up the damn hill. Oh yeah, here we go. Another spammer. Dang, these people don't give up. Hello. Are you gonna talk? You're being streamed on YouTube. Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Joe calling for the police officer support investigation panel.
Yeah, good, Joe. No, thank you. Seeing that road over there might end up being more mellow. It's just that first turn and that first climb, and then it looks more gradual. More gradual than this. I know you can't see how steep it is. Yeah, I want to see the vehicle that came up this. Or came down it. They probably came down it. Yeah, it goes for a ways. Okay, what's up with that? Come on, dude. What are you doing? Well, it's at least another football field to exercise here. Which I don't mind. You know, it's like I'm gonna go for a hike today. And pretty soon there'll probably be, wow, really? Jeez, dude, get some force behind it, why don't you? Okay, wow, pretty much that's why that road's pretty obscured. You can barely see it going down there. Steep and rocky. So from that turn way down there, I had to walk the bike up here. This is the road that connects to that one that's going across there. Goes across there and loops around and comes this way. So this, we're gonna ride it a little ways. This road should connect in the road that I was trying to get over here to this point. So going home, I might go down this and see what that looks like going back home. I know it's really rocky coming up out of the valley down there. But like I said, this really just isn't looking much like a loop road that I was hoping it would be, like a really cool loop route out of El Dorado. Yeah, not really working out that way. I mean, probably better going down than up. But any way you look at it, you know, it's not a ride. It's not a route that you can just pedal the whole way. That's what I was looking for. So probably the only route that you can do that on is going into Brunswick Canyon and then over to Carson. and back to Dayton. Dude, this is Hey, you single track guys, I got a road to take you on. You're gonna love it. Crud. So anyway, I got like, what? Yeah, I got like 30 minutes. And I gotta head back to Carson. Oh boy. Just say whatever. Jubal. I gotta head back to Fallon. Fernley. No, Lake Tahoe. Yeah, 30 minutes and I gotta head back to Dayton before it gets dark. Okay? Come on, tires. You can do it. But if you join my extremely extreme but old e-bikers, this is the kind of rides we're gonna do, okay? And I'll bring along some tissue for you. Oh crud. Oh yeah, I didn't even start my route tracker. You know, I do that every freaking time. I either don't bring batteries. 75% of the time I don't start my trip tracker. I don't know. And I said last time I was out here I was gonna make a checklist. Yeah, I made it. Okay, another spam call. Hello. Go ahead, it's your, yeah, it's not a nickel anymore, it's your quarter. Or maybe it's not a quarter anymore. Hello. All right. Yeah, this is just Rock City back here. Okay, so there's something up here, some sort of civilization. Somebody brought their trash up here. Yeah, there you go. I mean, imagine how far off the beaten track we are, and somebody brings their crap up here to leave, right? That's what happens when you give couch potatoes the ability to go out in the forest and the desert. Yeah, we love it. I'm just glad I'm not part of your plan. So in reality, this road should just be coming down and intersecting into another road that's going north and south that I was on before. In reality, it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, because I've been wrong quite a bit on this loop. And for all I know, you know, where I'm at, I could be where I was last week. I could have been over on that side of the ridge, and I just think it's close to here. I could have been on that side of that ridge of mountains, which is probably the reality of it. Totally. You know, because on Google Earth, it's like, oh yeah, I was right there, and I was right there, not realizing that right there is 5 miles. And I didn't even reset my odometer, so I don't know how far I've gone up till now. I think I'm gonna buy a watch that just stays on the bicycle, you know, right here, so I know to start the tracker because I'm staring at it. But I ran a tracker yesterday for my gas ride, and it stopped somewhere out in the desert. I got home and it was already turned off, so it didn't even track the whole ride. It just quit whenever it felt like it. See, and you wouldn't really be going any faster than this on a motorcycle, right? If you were single tracking it, because of all these rocks, and you'd just be creeping along. I should have a signal where I am, so I can pull it up and kind of see if I'm anywhere near where I think I am. You know, it's funny, you're out here riding over all these hills, and you can't believe how many hills there are between other hills. But you only go through 2 sets of hills if you drive from Dayton to Carson. And it's 10 minutes, right? 15 minutes maybe at the most. But if you're out here on a motorcycle or an e-bike, it's like hill, hill, hill. And you go over like 4 or 5 of them. And I guess that's the reality of it, right? So when they built the highway, you just build it through a valley, so you're not going over hills. So let's see if I have enough signal to pull up where I am. Because really, I'm thinking, you know, look at how big that hill is. And that's between us and Carson, so I'm pretty sure when I was riding out here last week, I was on the other side of that hill, or I was on that hill, and that's some of the roads I came down, those steep hills. I'll bet ya. Huh, Jube? Anyway, it's about time to turn around and go back. Okay, just so you know, I am going to turn around and head back. It's time for me to do that. I am on the track file, the loop file that I made to do my loop. So I am actually following that. As far as how close I am to the way I came last time, I'm not sure of that. But anyway, I'm turning around here because here goes another steep uphill. And we're not doing that right now because battery power. I don't have an extra battery. And so we're not gonna do that, but you can see here. Okay, so this is the track file I laid out on Google Earth. So that green line is El Dorado Canyon. That's the single track out of El Dorado Canyon. And we totally followed that to somewhere over here when I got off track last time, and I went way over here, you know, down here to the river. So somewhere in here, you know, I went this way. Anyway, we are on the route. We came up this, but I walked this steep section, half of it. I rode part of it, but walked it instead of going around like that. So anyway, now we're gonna go back and go back home. So this is where we got to. When I get home, I'll load the track file when I was out here lost, kinda, and we'll see how close I am to it going this way. It's got to be in here somewhere where I junctioned off and went through all these hills down to the river, right? Because I ended up where? Right here. So see, I ended up way over here from the route. I ended up down here. So somewhere's in here I did this. Look it up. That's it for now. Okay, well, as you know, I walked up half of this or more, but I went over there, see if I could ride that out, but that's a hill climb over there, straight where I'm pointing. Goes downhill and then you gotta climb that hill. No, this is all the way, this is just downhill. And then downhill. There's no uphills I gotta climb, so we're gonna walk down here. This super rocky steep part, so I don't slide out and crash. We're gonna walk this and then we'll get back on it and walk home. But like I said, a decent loop ride out of El Dorado. All right, so anyway, I am riding it now, but did I take the yeah. See, you can't even see this road. Maybe I made the wrong turn. No, it goes down right there. Look at how bad that is. I mean, it's bad. You know? So anyway, you know, like, look at how big these rocks are too. So I don't know if somebody went up this. They probably went down it by accident. Like, we are committed now. Because it's pretty freaking brutal. I was hoping this was gonna kind of curve around the side of the mountain. I was hoping, but on Google Earth it kind of showed it going straight up. And it does. So maybe it was a cat that made that route when they had a fire. Oh, see, I didn't even take the right way down. That's the way I went up. I came down that, so I missed it up there somewhere. That's funny. I missed the road somewhere. It was so obscured. But yeah. But, you know, it was fun. Fun while it lasted. You know, if I wouldn't kind of looked at that, I would have been wondering about it all through winter. You know, so in reality, the way that I went out the first time might be one of the easiest ways, who knows? You know, the other thing to try is to go up that road if I can get up it. I think it's all rock though, you know, worse than this, so that's another thing to try some other day. Might have to end up next spring or something. You know, real mountain bikers would rail down this like 100 miles an hour and jumping off of stuff, you know. And they'd probably do a front flip and then a back flip. You know, and just be like, watch me, man. You know, I've had friends watch it and say, well, you're just creeping along. So I got bored and I started doing something else. I'm like, I guess, bro. You know, I ride today to be able to ride tomorrow. Okay. So, and you see some of those other mountain bikers and they get in some horrendous accidents and they're like, they're okay. Or they broke this or they broke that. You know, a lot of those guys are going to be our future wheelchair recipients, right? With a oxygen bottle going, in my day, I did this. It's like, yeah, is it worth it to ride around in a wheelchair now? No, Jack. No, Jack, it's not. I want to have fun today and tomorrow. Live for today, but come back tomorrow. Yeah, and this will be a long video. I'm just ranting, but you know, it's all new stuff you haven't seen before. That's the most important thing, right? Okay, I'm going this way. Is that right? No, that's I am going this way, and I lost my momentum. That's the road that goes up, but I think that's maybe the worst part. And after you get past those rocks right here, maybe it smooths out. I don't know. That's for another day, but you can look at that. That's going to be a pedal to get up that. Okay, huh? See if I can get my momentum going. Alrighty. And that's another road that I think ties into all those roads, but as you can see, it goes steep up. It goes real steep up. I was just hoping there was going to be a road back here that kind of, you know, followed the side of a mountain, but didn't go straight up, you know. See, I mean, if you look at that one, still looks like a lot of rocks and steep right there, right? So you got to go around that corner and you got to get up. I don't know. Maybe next year. Anyway, that kind of killed it for my loop ride out of Dayton back to Dayton. I mean, out of El Dorado back to Dayton. So now someday in the future, I'll do a loop ride out of El Dorado into Brunswick Canyon and over to Carson out by Deer Run Road, because that's probably gonna be the smoothest route, maybe. Never know. Okay, I think I can raise my seat back up. Hey, quit squawking. Squawk, squawk, squawk. If I pump them, it doesn't squawk. If I pump it, no squawking. But this you know, there's all kinds of little roads cutting off out here though, you know, that go places. There's those white buildings I pointed out on my video that were close to El Dorado. Yeah, El Dorado is right down there before the white buildings, but close to it. And I probably would ride faster downhill, but I don't trust my life on China brakes. They don't squeal as much going faster. Alrighty. Well, this video is probably close to an hour long. And we're almost out of here and heading home. Talk to you later. Alright, so pretty much that was a perfect little ride. Pretty much. I calculated out about the right time. I'm getting home right at dusk. It's not dark. Just starting to be able to see the headlight on the ground. And it's perfect. And I really kind of answered some questions for myself. There's not really an easy, clear route out of El Dorado Canyon and back over into El Dorado Canyon. So, another spam call. Alrighty.